Guy for the controversial Gupta plane landing in 2013 has again been implicated in the saga. Two witnesses have fingered Ambassador Bruce Koloane as being the main figure behind the controversial landing. A former Justice Department Director General has testified that Koloane abused his power, even using the president's name and other ministers to facilitate the landing. Nonkululeko Sindane was among the witnesses testifying today at the State Capture Commission. Our reporter Manqoba Mchunu was there for us. Manqoba, thanks for your time this evening. Well, Nonkululeko Sindane basically says Bruce Koloane is the man who should indeed be held responsible for the controversial landing of this aircraft. And there was also some testimony of some name dropping.
Well, of course, Griselda, you recall that Nonkululeko Sindane is among the four investigators that initially probed this matter. Among them, of course, was the former Correctional Services Commissioner Tom Moyane, who was part of the team, of course, and they looked at several issues. They made recommendations, they made findings with regard to this issue. And what she does say is that in all of the evidence that they found is that the name of Ambassador Bruce Koloane kept on coming up in terms of, instructing several officials within the SANDF to go ahead with the clearance. That name kept on popping up. But what she does say, though, is that at the same time, that being said, there was no evidence that points to the fact that the former president or any of the ministers had been involved in any of this process to try and land that Gupta airplane. But what she does say is that there was name dropping on the side of Koloane himself, who had used the name of the president, possibly, and also the name of the ministers, the Minister of Defense, Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, for example, to say to officials that number one does know about this. And of course she says that she assumed that number one was referring to the president himself. She says there was a lot of willingness in as far as this project was concerned, right from Bruce Koloane's involvement as well as the Indian High Commission as well.
All right, recordings as well alleged to involve Bruce Koloane and some officials as well regarding this particular landing?
Indeed, Griselda, she did speak about, during that probe, they had to also listen to some telephone conversations between Koloane and another senior official in the SANDF, Colonel Fanzal, of course, who was a senior to one of the other witnesses who testified today. And what she says at that time is that during some of those conversations, that's where the name number one knows. I mean, like extract, like number one knows, number one gave the instruction for this came up. And she says that by that she understood that to be the former president. But she says that that's when she then approached the president's office to obviously ask if the president did have any sort of authority to be involved in a landing of a plane. And of course she says that the answer that she got was that no, the president does not in any way have anything to do with the landing of a plane. But she says she didn't probe further because none of those witnesses, including Koloane himself, none of the witnesses, including the former ministers, including some of the people that were interviewed, including the Guptas, had implicated directly the president in that.
Now, Manqoba, obviously the biggest question here is under whose instruction then was he carrying out these instructions? But Ambassador Koloane was also seated in the commission while this evidence was being given. Any reaction from him? Well,
excitingly, Griselda, he was at the commission, and we had been informed yesterday that he'll be flying into the country just to attend. I did speak just briefly with him just to find out, about his arrival and why he was at the commission. Was he going to actually want to cross-examine some of these witnesses? But he didn't want to speak much. What he did say, he did confirm that he came yesterday. He says he got a call to say he must come and listen to some of this testimony. He sat there staring at some of the witnesses, especially Sindane, staring and looking, listening attentively to that testimony. But of course, at this particular stage, we know that his lawyers have also intervened on the matter just before the proceedings ended, actually stopping some of the evidence from the last witness, saying that they had not received notices of how he will be implicated by that particular witness. So there was a bit of drama from that, but he hasn't indicated at this stage whether he will be filing an application to cross-examine any of the witnesses?
Well, certainly remains to be seen if you will put in that application to cross-examine. Thank you very much. Our reporter, Manqoba Mchunu, who was covering the Commission of Inquiry into state capture for us today. So now moving on to other news, the city of Tshwane says there's no quick solutions to assist homeless people in the capital. However, it's identified 2 buildings that will assist in providing shelter. This comes after the killing of 5 homeless people in Pretoria last month. Our reporter Sipho Stierman joins us now live from Pretoria. Very good evening to you, Sipho. Thanks for your time. Well, it certainly seems there is some headway now. It seems 5 million has been set aside to deal with the issue of homelessness in Pretoria. Talk us through that.